You're watching a special edition of Pronews 7 to 10, the Pronews 7 Talk Computer Threats. Here's Jay Ritchie.
Good evening and welcome to our latest Pronews 7 Talk show. One of the items that inspired tonight's program is what allegedly is going on in China. A few weeks ago, evidence apparently surfaced indicating the existence of a Chinese military cyber hacking center in Shanghai. China has flatly denied allegations, but it has made no effort to disprove or look into the allegations. And a U.S. cybersecurity firm says at least 141 U.S. businesses or groups were hacked, including Coca-Cola, possibly because that company was trying to buy a Chinese juice company. Among the reasons all of us should care, a hacking operation like that could save the Chinese billions of dollars and result in countless lost American jobs. Also, it points out one significant thing to watch out for. One way this hacking is done is through something called spear phishing. A hacker sends an email to a target that appears to be from someone the target knows, but there's a program in it that will run when it's opened, and it will give the hacker a backdoor into a system where things can be stolen. I have a panel of 3 people with me tonight to talk about that and other computer subjects. On that panel are Eric Spellman of Spellman & Associates in Amarillo, a web design and online marketing company. Cheryl Cooper of Amarillo, who's been a victim of a computer scam known as phishing. And Michael Wilhelm of the Networks in Amarillo, ibrokethecomputer.com, a computer networking and security company. Panelists, I thank you all for being here tonight. Eric and Michael, I want to start with you for your initial thoughts about the China story. And Cheryl, I'll talk to you about your phishing experience right after that. On our website, Joe asks, if the computer systems of major companies can be compromised and hacked, what hope do I have? Eric, let's start with you.
Well, the biggest hope you have is that people really are not interested in what you have. If someone really wants to come at you, today's hackers are not the teenagers that sit in basements somewhere. They are countries looking for, they usually have a money motive of some sort or a power motive.
Okay. And Michael, what hope do I have if this stuff is going on?
The best thing is to educate yourself, and I think education is a key to knowing what antivirus software you're running on your computer. They're not after you, they're just after the resources that your computer has, the internet, the computer itself.
Cheryl, ID theft is huge around the country right now. How did this phishing thing happen to you, and what steps have you taken since that time?
What happened with me was I was on my computer, and it started to go haywire, for lack of a better word. I got a message that I had a virus on there and that I needed to purchase this antivirus software in order to get the virus off. Being confused and panicked and all, and it looking identical to a trusted antivirus software, I bought it, downloaded it, and ended up compromising my credit card and my security on there. It was a big mess. What I've done since then is have the very good technical support and what our computer needs to have on there as far as the security, and so that's kind of been what we've had to do, educate ourselves and to make sure that what we're purchasing is on a secure site.
You kind of learned your lesson.
I learned my lesson,
right?
Yes.
Michael, let's start with you here from Jeff on Facebook. Use incognito windows when putting something in, and don't go anywhere shady. There aren't really hot singles online waiting for you. It's a trap. I think we're pretty sure that second part is true. But what does it mean by incognito windows?
Incognito is a way of going to a website and being 100% anonymous. It does not actually give you protection as far as security-wise. It just makes you more anonymous. The best thing to do is, if you're using Internet Explorer, is go out and download a different web browser like Chrome or Firefox. My always thought on that is Internet Explorer is the best browser to download another browser with.
Okay. And Eric, I have a lot of questions or comments here from people that say Firefox is the best one that's really worked for some of these people. Do you find Firefox to be the best of the bunch?
Well, if I were to rank them, my favorite is Chrome, made by Google. But second would be Firefox, and I use it too. But I'm with Michael on this one. We call it Internet Exploder because it is the one that most of the hackers have have made viruses that specifically attack that. And so I don't use it at all. You can almost be guaranteed to get infected with something if you use the blue E, Internet Explorer, for very long.
Did you say, Cheryl, that Microsoft Security Essentials is now part of your protection package?
Yes,
Okay.
as well as the Firefox, as Mike has said.
And something called, is it malware bytes?
Yes, that's
Okay.
exactly what I use.
We have a question about that coming up, too, and I'll have that for all of you to handle in just a second. We'll take this break and come back for more of our Pronews 7 talk on computer threats. Stay with us.
You're watching a special edition of Pronews 7 at 10, the Pronews 7 Talk, Computer Threats. Here's Jay Ritchie.
Welcome back to part 2 of our discussion. As you might imagine, companies with a lot at stake in this hacking threat are trying to do whatever they can to stay ahead of the thieves, and banks may be the most active of all. Pronews 7's Andrea Flores talks with an Amarillo National Bank official about what's being done there.
Modern-day cybercrime and identity theft is becoming a business. Just like we get up every morning and put our clothes on and go to work, the cyber criminals are doing exactly the same thing.
And they aren't just going after your money. They want personal information, too. How does Amarillo National Bank protect its customers from cyber threats?
Here at A&B, we have a detailed security program. We have fraud monitoring for all of our accounts. All of our staff is trained on fraud 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Our systems are constantly monitored and reviewed for fraud.
Bill Davis says A&B customers should be confident their accounts aren't being compromised.
Every transaction is monitored. Every visit to our website is monitored. All the systems, we take precautionary steps, but we also test them constantly for possible data breach.
As technology advances, data security officers are noticing new trends in online crime. Hackers are gathering information to make concentrated attacks or blended threats.
It's just not the one-time threat. They're using pieces, they're gathering all the pieces and using it months down the road.
They're also targeting social media's younger users for access to secure information.
With the advent of social media becoming more prevalent for everyone, don't trust connections or website addresses inside that medium.
So as the face of cyber theft evolves, the holdup isn't the only crime you'll see in a bank. Andrea Flores, Pronews 7.
Yeah, pretty much the bank holdup itself is a thing of the past. Now it's all done cyber-wise. Cheryl, let's start with you this time. Based on what happened to you, do you have confidence your ID is safe with your bank or any place else that you've shopped or bought online?
Well, it's hard to act with all of this going on to have 100% confidence, but I do now. I was given the tools and the education that I need as far as what to look for before I make a purchase, what kinds of symbols to look for. Our bank has told us what things that they, wouldn't be doing or would be doing, so that way we're protected. So I do feel confident in that regard.
Okay. Let me ask the gentleman, anything that the bank official said that surprised you or kind of confirmed what's going on as far as cybersecurity is concerned, Eric?
Now, really, all they can do is defense. I mean, the chances of catching most of these hacker types, you have about the same chance of catching Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, anything there that was fresh information?
I have to agree with him. Is everything is, they're all on the defensive side of everything. So trying to find these hackers is a dime a dozen.
And it's true that we're not talking about the kid or the hacker who's just doing it as cyber vandalism. We're not
I think
talking about
those are a thing of the past.
Multinational things where people are doing it for money, either to take over trade secrets or to use your own system as maybe a storage place or to launch other viruses or things like that. Is that right?
It's very strategic, almost very militaristic in its rules.
Okay. Cynthia on Facebook says, I belong to LifeLock. We've had several people who said LifeLock has been very good to them. I've had my identity stolen, says Cynthia. It was not fun. It was a total nightmare.
Yes.
Cheryl, you'd agree. No problem since LifeLock, and parenthetically, no, I don't work for them, she says. I also use virtual credit card numbers when shopping online. So several people talked about LifeLock as a good idea. What do you think of that? And what's a virtual credit card number? Michael?
Virtual credit card numbers, several different companies that provide those. And what they are is one-time use credit cards. You can go and purchase a credit card and go purchase something online, and it's a one-time pass. I'd have to say that most online shopping sites like Amazon these big shopping companies like those are fairly well protected. But, you know, once again, we never do know. I think that local shopping, you have a bigger risk. In a public store where someone actually physically handles your card, has a bigger risk of stealing that credit
We've seen
card.
all the commercials about LifeLock. How does that stack up in terms of protection?
Well, I'm not a big fan of it.
Why?
Mainly because a lot of the things they do for you, you can do for yourself if you just know some things. And so I'll just be honest, I'm just not a big fan of that. I think it gives people more of a comfort level than it does an actual protection service.
Okay. Cheryl, we'll start with you on this. These are people who are kind of naysayers. They're going the other direction. Kurt on Facebook says, if you watched 60 Minutes a few weeks ago, you'll know there's nothing you can do except live like you were back in the 1800s. No cell phone, no social security number, no computer. Ruth says, I don't shop online at all, and I don't put any vital information online. Jenny says, I don't bank or buy or pay anything online. Are you ready to go that route, to go back to the 1800s?
I don't think I'm ready to go that route. I understand a little bit, but I think if you're educated, if you know what to look for, as Mike said, Amazon, that's a site that I do shop on. There's just, realistically, it's hard to totally get away from, you know, online. You just have to know what your protection is. You need to be aware of certain things and go to those safer sites. Make sure that the security system you can see there, and like in our case, we made sure that we've got the essentials on there and the malware bites on there and this, you know, scanning. So I don't know. I'm not ready to go quite to where you're not, you know, ever online. So,
Eric, I guess there are extremists out there who are not going to do it. They're going to go into a store and buy things. They're going to do all their banking in person. Don't do the online stuff. Do they have to go that route? Are most of the things that they do transaction-wise secure?
Well, I'm not at this point where I'm going to trade in my car for, say, Seabiscuit pulling a wagon, okay? But I am to the point where I'm paying more attention. Believe it or not, most of the crime occurring today, as it relates to credit cards, is done in a very low-tech manner. It's a store clerk taking a credit card and doing a double swipe. It's things like that. The electronic things that, while they do happen, are not near as much as some of the low-tech methods.
And Michael, about 30 seconds, your comments on all this. We don't have to go that route to protect ourselves against it like that.
I think that if you're going to do that, then you just will get rid of all your credit cards. Go cash only. But if you're going to go to a store, you are risking something happening at the store. You don't even know what type of security they even have. So stores, security is really all because of education. You know, a lot of these stores sometimes have educated people and some of them do not.
All right, thanks very much. We have time for one more discussion segment. That comes up right after these messages.
You're watching a special edition of Pronews 7 at 10, the Pronews 7 Talk, Computer Threats. Here's Jay Ritchie.
And welcome back to the final installment of tonight's discussion. I want to go back to Cheryl before we get more comments from these computer geeks on either side of you. The best tip you can give people now that you have become a victim of some of this stuff.
right. My best tip is to get sound technical support. Know what your anti-software has on it. Know what site, if you're going to use a credit card, know what to look for so that it is secure. But definitely get sound help so that if you think you have a virus, rather than panic, rather than find yourself in a situation where you make a huge, worse mistake like I did, get the technical support and help that you can get.
Thanks. Michael, this is from Julie on Facebook. I put very little personal information on the internet in the first place. My family and friends know I do not open attachments to emails, period. I also check face crooks on Facebook to make sure I know what nasty stuff is going on there. Never heard of face crooks before. Is this a good idea?
I have not heard of face crooks myself. This is a new one on me too.
I wonder what
Actually, only on Facebook. I only add friends I do know. I do not add anybody else, and I've gone into my privacy settings and have blocked view of anything else. So the only people on Facebook are the ones I know.
Sounds smart. Do you know about Face Crooks? Is this a new one?
No, chances are it's just a page where people are reporting those type of things going on, but no, I have not heard of it.
Okay. James on Facebook says, not on Face Crook, people need to be made aware of the best tool there is for removing viruses, trojans, badware, and all. Stinger. It's free and updated regularly. Also, I have for many years run with no type of security suite, antivirus stuff, nothing, because he says most of what gets people comes into their registry through adverts. I guess ads, maybe pop-ups, that kind of thing. I run Firefox browser with an ad block add-on. End of problems. Haven't had anything ever get me ever since. Let's start with Eric. Stinger, Firefox, and adverts.
Yeah, Stinger is made by McAfee. It's a wonderful little free program, and it works great. There's a lot of great antivirus software out there. My favorite is also a free one. It's Microsoft Security Essentials, and the link to get it is so long. I just tell people to Google it. Microsoft Security Essentials is the first one that comes up. I use it on my home computers, and it works great. You're right. A lot of these things happen through pop-ups and advertisements, and everyone's going to get infected, and that's the important thing to know. Everyone will get infected. Even us computer guys get infected.
Yeah. So you
just have a plan.
There you go. And Cheryl's got the one with Security Essentials is the one that she added. Any comments from you about Stinger or ads or Firefox?
I'd say the Security Essentials is really good. Another one that's really good is Malwarebytes, and you can just go Google that. You can find that. It's also on our website. And AdBlock Plus is a good tool. It's a plug-in for Firefox or Chrome. HTTPS everywhere. That makes sure that sites you go to are more secure. It makes sure that if they have security on those sites, it enables it by default.
Time for one more and quick comments from the guys. Several people, like Jeremy on Facebook, say they use PayPal, and they think PayPal is a really secure way to go. Is PayPal that good?
I think PayPal is really secure. There's also the Google Wallet. It's actually very secure also.
Would you recommend that also, Eric?
Yeah, they're both really good. The only danger you run into is if someone's faking them.
And watch out for China and Russia and all those other things, and just get good tech support to make sure that you've got the best protection possible, right?
Yes.
Eric, Cheryl, Michael, thank you once again for being here. Your comments were invaluable. Thank you very much, and have a good evening. Our evening continues here with the weather with Brian James right after this break.